Hi guys, this is our Kirill Zadov David Zadov stream. Today the most important news probably is mayor primaries that was over by conceding yesterday by conceding Coma victory to Zohran Mamdani. Couple of questions I have. David Zadov is with me. Hi David, welcome on board again. The
Hello.
pleasure to have you here. What I wanted to ask you a couple of things first. I know that if you would be voting in New York, you would be voting for Zohran Mamdani.
Yeah.
And I understand that the guy made the election campaign on Instagram and TikTok, which is probably a very effective way of get young people enlisted to the agenda.
Yeah.
And he's a smart guy, and also that he's socialist. We can define him as also pro-Palestinian activist and pro-civil rights movement, by the way, also, obviously. Uh, why he won? What do you think?
I think he won because Democrats in New York, at least, are tired of having to choose the lesser of two evils. Democrats want a leader who actually goes for change instead of stopping the Republicans from actively ruining the country. Democrats want somebody who can bring about basic reforms like uh, raising the minimum wage and getting free childcare and getting affordable housing, like stuff like that. And okay, do you hear me? Do you hear me better now?
Yeah, I hear you perfectly well.
Okay. Sorry, my microphone disconnected for a second. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
I understand housing. We can understand because that's a really pressing issue for a lot of New Yorkers, and also I see it as younger people. It's not only less of two evil. It's nothing is changing, and establishment figures. Who Cuomo is obviously he's an establishment figure, perceived by young generation as a person who cannot bring about change that they need, and they do need a change. They do need. Affordable housing. I think that was the most important agenda item that got him a lot of voices from a probably big spectrum of voters. Uh, some some bankers supported him, but privately they didn't know the names. But so he has not that wide support and endorsement like Cuomo had and other people had but the company was not to rank Cuomo, was very well thought company, by the way, not to rank Cuomo. So everybody unite against Cuomo, not rank him, so he wouldn't have a chance. And also the not final but preliminary count is 43 by 36,
Hmm.
and it's a huge victory, by the way, even without ranking. So
Yeah.
ranking probably won't change that. Let me ask you that if if Cuomo will finally go run independently on November, what do you think chances of Cuomo are? Because they say now that not a lot of center, like upper West Side people, Park Slope people, not a lot of people who were supposed to come came out to vote. But when they're gonna be faced with Mamdani versus Cuomo and Adams in November run, they probably will go and vote. What do you think about that?
I think Cuomo being Cuomo was also a big part of the reason Cuomo lost. People do not want Cuomo, who has 13 credible sexual harassment accusations against him, in office, and I doubt Cuomo has much of a chance in November. I think Cuomo being running in November would probably damage Eric Adams' chances of winning
Right,
significantly,
right.
uh, because the people voting for Eric Adams are the same people voting for Cuomo. Uh,
We
but
don't know that. It's probably speculation, but okay. You cannot assume even this. I think you
right,
cannot even
right.
assume that. But let's say that some of those groups of voters are unite in certain area they cross. I understand what you're saying. Probably in certain percentage, it is true. But we cannot assume that it's like they coincide completely. No, it's not like that. Because Eric Adams also got the support of African American community, by the way, and it's a strong card also. Don't forget about that. And he got police endorsement and safety also. You see, Eric Adams at least knows how to deal with safety, because Mamdani is not practical yet. It's all theory yet. He is a Queens assemblyman. I mean, he's an assemblyman from Queens, and he was never involved in local politics on the level of New York City as it's like when you are mayor already. Eric Adams has that advantage. But I want to ask you, because he's already almost three and a half years he's a mayor. So that's an advantage because he's incumbent. You understand? He's an
Okay, yeah, it's an advantage to his campaign. I don't think it's an advantage to his policy, but sure.
Now let imagine that I would be in Eric Adams' human resources staff, and I would
Mhm.
hire you as a strategist for Eric Adams to win. What would you do?
Strategies for Eric Adams to win. First of all, I think he made a big mistake trying to run independent. Uh, People do not want to vote independent.
He had no
Uh,
chance in Democratic Party. They
yeah,
said
of
no.
course. Yeah, they said no.
So he had no other way to run. So it's not a mistake. He has no other opportunity.
Well, I'm not even saying it was a mistake. I'm saying that it hurts his chances. But running independent, even if we put that aside, there is not much Eric Adams could do to save his reputation. He could campaign the same thing Cuomo did and say that the city is a dangerous place and it's violent and I need to fix it, which is what Cuomo said. But I don't know how well it's going to work out for him. And I don't think he can campaign on the same thing Zoran is doing, which is like basic reform, because Eric Adams and Andrew Cuomo for the last X amount of years have rejected that notion. So, I mean, good luck to them. But I don't see, because I'm not in their position, I don't see a way forward for Eric Adams. I'm sure he could win, but I don't see how he's going to do it, right?
Mhm. So you wouldn't advise them use more Instagram and TikTok
He's
actively.
gonna, he's gonna get flamed. He's going to get such a bad reception on Instagram and TikTok that he's going to immediately just forget about those accounts.
Mm. Okay, then next thing.
Yeah.
Uh, what's the policies of Hamdani? What he advocates for? He says we're gonna take it's gonna be free city buses, it's gonna be $70 billion over 10 years for housing, right?
Hmm.
Something like that.
Yeah.
He's saying that it's gonna be free childcare till 6, as I
Hmm.
understood. So really important issues. Now, where money is coming from? That's the most important part. Because
Uh,
now you know the Dow Jones on the news of Mamdani winning primaries fell, by the way, pretty significantly.
yeah.
And also, because a lot of Wall Street supported Cuomo on these primaries, now all those money are going to be allocated to Adams because
Wait, Dad.
they free. Hold on, let me finish. Let
Okay.
me ask you a question. Now. You can
Okay.
address those points.
What's the question? Because you said a lot of stuff.
Right.
So what
So
is
I
the
didn't
question?
ask yet. Let me
Okay.
finish the sentences. I didn't finish what I was saying. Now, the main question is where the money are going to come from. Keep in mind that city has very little authority over money. Taxes, it's what state, the hierarchy between state and the city in our New York state. And basically, city can take only what states allow city to take. So they property taxes are in the city, for example, in the city authority, but they cannot raise those taxes, for example, uncontrollably.
Yeah.
So state can take away a lot of things. And without a state assembly and state senate and a governor, city is not allowed to do whatever it wants at will to reallocate certain stuff. So where the money are coming from?
So I want to preface this by saying not Cuomo, Jesus. Mamdani is very good at doing politics. He's very good at he's good at being a whip. He's good at having people vote for his policies. He's gotten 3 bills passed in this New York Assembly. So I would trust him with talking to the state, finding a compromise. If you're asking about the direct policy that Zoran has talked about for raising the money, he all he said is he's going to raise the flat tax on people who earn over on the flat income
Million,
tax
more than $1 million.
more than $1 million by 2% to match New Jersey's. So it's the same as New Jersey's tax rate. That's literally
Yeah,
all
but
it
New
is.
Jersey is a state. New York is a city. So who will give them authority to do that? That I'm asking.
The state. I just told you that they're
Oh,
going
so
to
he
push
think he
it.
gonna pass that through state assembly and
Yeah.
senate?
Yeah.
It's doubtful. Okay, granted. Now the second question: those people who earn more than a million, they are, as I understand, the basic taxpayers for the city treasury, right?
What do you mean?
I mean, whoever makes more pay more taxes, right? Obviously.
Um, in New York City, actually, from 50,000 to over like 10 million, people pay like pretty much the same exact taxes. Like the flat tax rate is pretty much the same. Uh, the progressive tax rate is basically not a thing until you get into like high earners,
I'm
like top
telling you. So
five.
people who earn more than $1 million a year, that
Yeah.
those the guys he want to raise tax to 2% from, right?
Yes. No,
So
not 2%. It's gonna raise it by 2%.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now, those people who are gonna raise on 2% the value, it's going to be those are the people who pay most taxes for New York Treasury. You understand that,
Yes.
right?
Well, not by, I'm saying not by much. They do not pay much more in taxes, as in the percent, than the lower classes. They do not pay that much more in their like relative to their earnings. But yes, they
So
place
if they pay
no,
not a lot more, making more than a million, then how those 2% gonna help very ambitious $70 billion in 10 years for housing? He needs, he said, he declared.
because you underestimate how many rich people there are in New York and just how much they have. 2% is more than enough to pay for. It's enough to pay for all of Zohan's policies combined, plus having $15 billion left over. That's how much is going to be raised from an increase of 2%.
So you
Like,
think they just going to swallow it? That's your assumption.
yeah, they're going to eat the 2%. It's not that big of a deal.
You
I
think?
don't think, yeah, I don't think that many people are going to leave New York over a 2% increase, and especially
No,
not go to New Jersey,
I
which is
have to tell you who gonna leave definitely. Conservative Jewish, conservative, not religious sense, in political views. Conservative Jewish communities, members and heads probably will move.
really.
I wonder why didn't they prevent Mamdani to win first um, assembly seat in Queens
Why
and
not?
second primaries here for mayor? Because you know that lobby, pro-Israel lobby, is working actively not to let progressive candidates with Palestinian agenda on their mind to not let them to win.
Because back
And
then,
they were
yeah.
successful in many cases, by the way,
Because
already in New York.
back then, everybody got their money. It was a base requirement back then, before Zoran, uh, for everyone to get their money, a significant part of their funding for the political campaign from that pro-Israel lobby. Zoran said, "No, I'm not even going to talk to you guys. I'm just going to crowdsource my money," and that's how he did it. Like that's all he had to do. He didn't have to like the
No,
pro-Israel
but
lobby
they
could not do
pour
anything
money to
about
us.
it.
Hold on. I understand how he did it. I'm saying, why didn't they prevent them from winning by pouring money to other candidates?
They did. They poured a
But
lot.
they were not successful, you're saying.
They were
Okay.
not successful.
Okay. So now imagine we have like a 1.5 million Jews in New York City and another 1.5 million Jews in suburbs altogether. And a big New York, big Apple is New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, 3 million Jews.
Mhm.
And the city is a big part of it. So now, if he's being pro-Palestinian, we didn't even start talk safety. I'm just saying, let's start from the hottest thing for me, for example. So if he's
Yes.
a pro-Palestinian, and how do you think Jewish communities will feel?
Depends what Jewish community. I think the atheist Jewish community or the non-religious Jewish community will not care.
But there's no
I
such a thing as non-religious Jewish community. Community is always
You're right. You're right.
religious in
Okay, if you're talking
entity.
about the Jewish community that revolves around their religion, then I think
Orthodox,
most of
right?
them, yeah, then I think most of them will probably not like it because they're uncomfortable with somebody being pro-Palestinian in a position of power. The problem with that notion is that uh, being pro-Palestinian has literally nothing to do with your policy when you're the mayor. It has nothing to do with the safety of the city, and certainly has nothing to do with how you treat the Jewish population. I think Cuomo, you could actually say there's a valid argument that could be made that Cuomo and Eric Adams are more anti-Semitic than Zoran for using this like idea of anti-Semitism so frivolously against him without any parameters, without any care, just calling him an anti-Semite with no base.
No, because we equal pro-Palestinian movement here in New York with anti-Israel,
Yes, they're
and
anti-Israel.
anti-Israel is equal anti-Semitism.
I don't
Today,
agree with
yes,
that.
it used to be not like that,
I
but
don't think by
now
necessity it is
it is.
anti-Semitic, at least in the
Unfortunately,
city.
yes.
Okay, well,
We,
you want
okay, we
to?
can argue about that.
Yeah, we
It's
can.
not the point
Yeah.
of argue. So I have to tell you that communities that I represent and I'm visiting,
Mhm.
and that I know, and I know not only one community, a couple of them in New York City, some of them in Jersey. They do consider him as a pro-Palestinian is a catastrophe for our Jewish life here,
But how?
because he's going to encourage more pro-Palestinian protests in case uh, stuff in Gaza goes not according to pro-Palestinian right activists.
How would that encourage? Okay, let's start from the basics. How would him being pro-Palestinian encourage more pro-Palestinian protests?
What do you mean? He's going to talk publicly
You
that
think he's going to?
Palestine
Yeah.
is that Palestinians are right in what they're doing and Israelis are wrong in
Why
what
would he
they're
talk
doing.
about that? He's literally
Huh?
never, in his whole political career, he has like almost never discussed foreign politics ever. He's focused exclusively on New York. Not even like even when Israel started the war, he did not say anything. He barely said anything about the war in Gaza. Like that was it was insane. Like this guy does
You
not care about
sure?
foreign
He never
politics.
said
Yeah,
nothing. Let me.
not maybe he's like said a tweet or two, but I don't think he went up on the podium and was talking about like how do you should free Palestine. He was an assemblyman. He has stuff to worry about. You can go ahead and look it up.
That's what I'm trying to do. hmm On April 17, Assembly member Zohran Mamdani agreed to an interview for that story. It included the thoughts of two-state solution, the boycott, BDS. Hold on, let me.
Mhm.
It's Politica is saying answer. Okay. Uh hold on. And he's very anti-Trump, by the way, also, which is understood.
No,
Which
come on.
okay. Do you support BDS as a tactic? It boycott, divestment, sanctions. It's
Mhm.
against Israel. To remind you,
Yes, I know.
I'm citing. I've long been a support. It's political. I've
Mhm.
long been a supporter of nonviolent movement that call for adherence to international law. Have supported BDS in the past.
Mhm.
That's
Okay,
you know that in a lot of states in the United States that's illegal activity and goes against states laws, like state
boycotting.
of Florida, for example, or if I'm not mistaken, state of Texas, and a lot of states with even less Jewish population than New York City than New York State.
Yeah.
So
Wait, Dad, can we stop for a second? How does supporting boycotting on a personal level affect how he's going to conduct himself and encourage, and how would that him personally supporting boycotting affect the the rate of pro-Palestinian protests in the city? Because he is
forget about
once
protest.
again,
He's
that
going
is a
to do
private interview. He's
New
not
York
his
City,
being his interviewing and saying, yeah, I'm
New York
pro-Palestinian.
City
Yeah.
may be the city that's going to promote BDS because he is supporting it.
How would it promote BDS just by him supporting it?
Easy. By a lot of, for example, Muslim stores selling not selling anything to Israel or not buying anything from Israel, for example. Store owned by Muslims, for example. I'm
How
just
would
giving you
Zoran affect
again,
that?
David. You cannot deny that now he has a the person who supports boycotting and sanction Israel. He now can be a mayor of New York City, which is a big, huge problem.
What problem does that have if he personally supports boycotting? It has nothing to do with the rate of people boycotting. He is not saying go boycott Israel. He never
What do
said
you mean?
this.
He said I'm
He
supporting
says
it.
I support boycotting Israel in a private interview. He never said,
It's not
guys,
private.
go
It's
boycott
political. What
Israel.
in private interview? It's political. They're interviewing him of his position.
Yes.
It's not private interview. It's for
He's not
public
doing a
purpose.
town hall.
It's for
I'm saying it's a
public.
private
It's
one-on-one
for
interview. It's
public purposes. It was published with his consent, and people who voted for him probably also support boycott and divestment because they
well,
got that
now we're
info.
generalizing.
Hold
Okay, so
on.
now we're
But
generalizing.
if he's
Okay.
publicly saying that he's doing this, he is in support of that policy. So
Hulk. Oh my God.
people know
Yeah.
people know that he's supporting BDS, and whoever voted, not they at least they're not against BDS. Because if I would be against BDS, I would never vote for Mamdani,
You have
right?
not provided a single piece, you have not even provided a single like logical argument, a single syllogism that would suggest that Zohran Mamdani supporting boycotting or even being public about his supporting
I
boycotting
have to
would
tell you
increase
as
the
a
amount of
Jew,
boycotting.
I have to tell you as a Jew that anybody who support BDS is anti-Semite. And I would never have anti-Semite being mayor of New York City.
How, okay, can you explain how being a how supporting BDS
Because
is
BDS is boycott, divestment, sanctions of Israel, which is a Jewish state. That's how it is.
it's not boycotting them because they're a Jewish state. It's
Again,
boycotting them because of perceived genocide.
David,
Yes.
that distinction is no longer exist, especially after October 7th.
Who
No,
said, who got to tell you, who gets to say that this distinction no longer exists?
I
Who gets
do.
to say, why? Why gives you that authority?
Because I know how lot of organizations use
Mhm,
BDS to
mhm.
present anti-Israeli and anti-Jewish position. And they equal
Okay,
Jewish
so we're
population
going in,
all
we're
over
going,
the world with Israel.
we're going,
And also
yeah.
from religious point of view, David, I have to tell you, Israel, we are Israel. All Jews are Israel. When Torah says Israel, they mean Jews. You understand that? So when
Okay.
they're talking about Jewish state, they're talking about us as well. So for
Right.
me, that's very important issue. He's BDS, and not only for me. And he's publicly saying that he's supporting BDS. So that's hard to deny now that he is anti-Israel, and he's anti-Israel, he's
I'm not, I
anti-Semite.
never even denied that he was anti-Israel.
So again,
Yes.
the problem is like that. So
Yeah.
Jews who voted for man, and I assume there are some Jews who voted for Zohran Mamdani in this
Right.
election,
Yeah.
right, in these primaries. So they are either they anti-Israeli Jews, which is oxymoron, or they just don't understand what it means to be supporting BDS. Just for
Okay, so
example,
we're still going in a circle. We're still going in a circle
okay,
in the sense that
let's
you
leave.
haven't explained
Okay,
how
I
you're saying
think
it over and over again until I believe it, and I don't think it's going
it's
to
not
work for
about
you.
belief. It's a fact.
Okay.
He's supporting BDS for everybody. Read about BDS. You can do homework and you can do all info. You can take all the info about BDS. You have a better idea of how
Okay.
anti-Semitic and anti-Israeli the
Let's
movement is.
assume. Okay, let's even say you're right. How would supporting BDS and maybe making anti-Zionists a little more comfortable?
Not anti-Zionist. It's anti-Semitic, anti-Israeli. It's not only
Anti-Zionists,
about Zionists.
anti-Zionists.
It's
Let's
also can be.
say
You
making
can say that.
anti-Zionists more comfortable. How is that worse than a mayor who is a rapist? Like, I'm sorry, would that not make rapists
Rapist,
more? Yeah,
mayor. I mean,
rapists.
Cuomo. No, it was
Yes,
all charges were dropped.
they were not dropped.
They were dropped.
They
All
were not.
charges against Cuomo were
They were.
dropped.
All right, let's go to the Atlantic, which will show you the 13 credible accusations.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
interested in accusations, but
Right.
charges were dropped, and that info you can get anywhere on
Charges
Google.
were dropped because there was a lack of
Evidence. Mhm.
no, not a lack of evidence, a lack of evidence that you're allowed to take. But the evidence was there, and you could
Okay.
even
Again,
because it's not usable in court doesn't mean
assume
it's
you're
not.
right.
Yeah.
Assume you're right. So against
Okay.
rapists, I can tell you how. First of all, Cuomo knows how to do administrative work in a state. He was a governor and pretty successful governor of the state.
Even then, it's I could dispute. I could
Hold
dispute you
on.
on that. So I
It's
don't
not
think
only
we could
that.
say it as a fact.
You see, you can be Mamdani can become a mayor with the city of $100 billion budget. Did he ever had a responsibility over that kind of a enterprise?
Cuomo didn't until he got elected. Like I don't know what this means. You don't have responsibility over that until you get elected. Everyone starts somewhere. What do you mean? Like I don't.
No,
If
but
we just
look,
let
if you can, let me ask you.
this progression of logic is
Yeah.
how we end up with 80-year-olds in office who are decrepit and
Agreed,
like have
agreed, agreed.
dementia. Like I'm
No,
sorry.
it's a
Yeah.
given. Okay, what you said
Right.
is right also. But imagine if you come for position of executive director of a corporation, in your resume they say we need 10 years experience of at least financial responsible and fiscal responsible work. For example, that you have to
Mm,
be responsible for hundreds of people, for their salary, for budgeting. You have to understand what it is. You gotta have an experience, not at that particular level of a governor of the state, for example, or CEO of big corporation, but at least you gotta be in top management for 10 years, they say, usually, for requirements. So
right.
for mayor of New York, you gotta do some like work that connected with budget, and that budget should be allocated for certain articles. You have to pay here, pay there. You have to understand certain concept, and also city as sewer, city is electric grid. City is a huge enterprise.
Yeah.
It's and the budget is a budget of couple of countries of GDP. $100 billion is a lot of money, David, every
Yeah.
year, every year. So now, what did Mamdani done before?
He is, like I said, he's been in the assembly. He passed three laws. But also, let's
And he's
let's look at
33.
your let's analyze your analogy. Companies, the goal of a company is to make profit. The goal of a government is to provide for its people and make sure the dealings of companies are fair, while keeping the market relatively free and making sure life is protected. Zohran Mamdani, by his own experience, by his own policy, which has been tried and tested around America and other parts of the world, is the most effective way to manage that kind of government. And the experience, like I said before, literally 5 minutes ago, when you agreed, the logic is circular. You can't like if you're not born with 10 years of experience written into your DNA. You have to get elected first. Like, I'm sorry. What are we doing? Yes, he doesn't have 10 years of experience, so he hasn't been elected. Like Cuomo used to not have any experience. Eric Adams used to not have any experience. LaGuardia used to not have any experience. Like De Blasio, you don't like De Blasio, but De Blasio used to not have any experience. You know?
Listen, okay, we've continued that because Mamdani is going to be on our streams. I mean, more often than I wanted them to be. But now he's, and I hear certain things. I understand that housing became so crazy expensive in this city that
Hmm.
just running on this position, he could win primaries probably.
Yeah.
And that's a big chunk of voters who voted for him.
Mhm.
Now, safety. Is he proposing also like defund the police and
No, he
no,
most definitely
he
did not
never
propose
said
defund the
defund the
police.
police.
He
Never.
never said defund the police. He
Tell me.
most definitely did not say defund the police, and he never supported defund the police policies. I'm sorry. I only know like,
Okay, I'm asking.
yeah,
I'm just asking. I'm
yeah,
not familiar.
yeah.
Second question then
Okay.
about safety. Is he also a proponent of a theory that in certain cases social workers should replace police officers?
When he talks about like mental health doing like rehab, yes, he does agree
So
with that.
not on the train station where a police officer should execute the authority. It's not going to be social worker that's going to ask politely the person who's smelly and behave inadequately in a train. Not social worker going to ask him to stop. It's going to be police officer, I hope, or not. We don't know about
Yeah,
that.
that's they're not saying that the social worker gets people like breaking the law and like being publicly indecent and like harassing people uh to deal with them. Police still deal with like serious crimes and violent crimes. But social workers actually like b doing the jobs of like rehab and like stuff around that area. Sorry, I'm blanking out right now on what the whole subsection is called. But that actually improves the quality of police work because now you have police not having to worry about so much stuff in their job and being able to focus on executing what is most important, while the issues of their job that are less pressing can be executed more efficiently. And that's really what affects the city, right? The small things that police officers have to do sometimes.
Do you
Uh,
think Mamdani knows how to deal with rats?
Rats.
Yeah. Did you
Like
notice in Brooklyn?
yeah. What did
Yeah.
Eric Adams do about rats? Please
Oh,
tell
they
me.
had five stages program that now came into second stage. I don't know what it means. I just saw the sign.
It's a
Now,
bit too late.
now I saw the poster. Now we're in the second stage of war with rats.
Good luck with that.
I don't know
But I'm
what it is.
sure
I
maybe
don't know.
Zoran has some plan about that. I haven't looked that deep into his policy. Maybe he has something for the rats.
Please, for
I
the
hope he
next
does.
stream,
But
tell
yeah,
me, would you do you think everybody would feel much calmer if Zohran Mamdani would connect with the Jewish leaders in the city
yeah,
and start talking to them?
yeah.
Yeah.
He has
Can we transmit that message to the man?
the man.
Yeah.
Who's the man?
Mamdani, can we transmit that information to him?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm never uncomfortable with him in the first place, but I'm sure, yes, if you talk to religious leaders and like soothe their nerves, and yes, I'm sure people would be more comfortable.
So unfortunately, our time is up. So,
Yeah.
uh, oh no, no, we have some time more. We can finish like in 5 minutes. Because now I don't see. I understand what's going to be done now to prevent him becoming a mayor. I'm not sure it's going to help. I understand that now all money that was supposed to come to Cuomo probably will come to Adams. I think that he gonna make special appeal to Jewish leaders to mobilize voters. Eric Adams, I mean, because that's a threat, and we are. I am as a Jew consider his election as a threat.
You still haven't provided an adequate reason
That's one
for
fact about
election being
BDS is
misled.
enough for me. But I will do more. I will dig. Don't worry. For next conversation about Mamdani, I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. I'm sure. I'm going to be more. I'm going to be prepared better. I I was sure that Cuomo will win. He got a lot of money, but he lost, and almost in landslide. And I have to tell you, that makes Mamdani like intriguing person for me now. And he's 33 years old, and the only one good thing about him, you know what I find? Very good thing about no, besides charisma, of course. He cannot be a president of the United States.
Why?
Ever,
Because he's
ever.
Muslim?
Huh?
Oh, right. No, he wasn't born in the United States. You're right.
Right.
Yeah,
And in
he's an
this, I
immigrant.
feel safe. De Blasio could. You see?
De Blasio never had a chance.
Haha. Haha.
Sorry,
Okay.
but
Okay. Listen. No, I congratulate you because you wanted them. You wanted
yes,
them.
I did want.
Right, right. But I wanna see him talking to Jewish leaders and explaining positions and
Yep.
go into debate.
Debate? Why would he debate the Jewish
Debate,
leader?
because BDS it's a very problematic thing.
Okay.
And it's only one thing. I'm sure there's more. I'm gonna read that interview. I'm sorry, I didn't even know that interview existed. Now I know, and we can read his position, that he words he was saying himself. So now we can not from first say somebody said he said that. We can read him personally what he's saying.
Mhm.
That's interesting. On matters of Hamas and stuff like that, I see those questions they were asked. So I'm gonna be prepared more. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for
And
having
I
me.
appreciate. And now our audience know why Mamdani won.
Hopefully. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but I think I provide my theory. So,
Thank you.
thank you for having me.
Thank you. See you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.